And welcome into in-game chat for Saturday, January the 21st, 2023. I had 23rd written up there for some reason. I don't know why. So I changed it. I think because it's 2023 maybe. That's why I had 23rd. I'm not sure. It's very strange. Season 17, Episode 3. I am Scott.
And I'm RJ.
Welcome into the show, everybody. Let me get this out of the way. And there we go. Wrap that up real quick. Done. If you want to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228, or you can use Discord. Prefer Discord if you're able to. It comes in loud and clear on Discord if you're able to do it. If not, feel free. Call in. Either way, we would just love to hear from you. 272-9228. Go to ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter at InGameChat. You can find us on Facebook there as well. You can email us, everyone, at InGameChat.net. Streaming right now on Twitch. Go to twitch.tv, look up In-Game Chat. You can find us there. You can watch us broadcasting. And you can join the chat room with Bama Brian. Drunk Degenerates is in there. I don't know who. Let's see. Do we have a roll call yet? Is it enough? Commander Root. Hey, Lethal Migraine's back. AC Wraith as well in the chat room. I've seen Lethal since last year, I think. I don't think he's been back in there the past 2 weeks. Anyway, welcome to the show. Don't forget Discord as well. You can join in there and chat with us live while we broadcast, or talk to us, you know. Bring up whatever you'd like as far as video games are concerned. I don't have opinions on other topics, I suppose. I mean, I probably do, depending on what they are. And then there's some where it's like, I have no opinion whatsoever. So, welcome into the show. Before we get started, let's jump over to, well, before we get started, we are started. We've already started. So let's jump over to you, RJ, and not only tell us what you've been playing, but what's been going on. I mean, you know, you sent me a text about your situation, so let's update everybody on your condition.
Yeah. PC condition, basically. What happened is the usual suspects was the motherboard, is what you told me about.
I mean,
swapping out the motherboard because we disconnected all the components, tested the power supply, brought it down to its bare minimum, tried the thing, and found out the power supply was fine. So after all the things we've checked out, it had to be the motherboard that's gone bad to make it behave the way it
seemed more motherboardish than it did anything else.
Yeah. So
until now.
So yeah. Swapped out the motherboard today. Put everything back to where it was supposed to be. Turned it on. Same problem. The exact same problem.
What motherboard did you get? Did you get the same one?
Same one.
So you had the same one. So now you have
two.
You have the same. You have two motherboards that seemingly I would guess if you're still having it with the replacement motherboard, then you got two good working motherboards there. Then I would think, maybe.
But we tried 2 different power supplies, and the same problem persisted. 2 different, same brand of motherboard, but
right, yeah,
same problem persisted. Like I said, when this problem started, the computer was on when it started, and all of a sudden it just cut off, and then it hasn't been right since. And then you told me that possibly the processor.
That was after you tried the motherboard and it didn't work again. You sent me a text saying that it didn't work out, and I was really surprised to hear that, and it kind of made me think that, oh great, well if it's not the motherboard, then processor or RAM.
So we tried the RAM. We swapped it out.
Oh, you did swap out the RAM? Okay.
That was the first one. That was one of the things we did.
Never mind.
Process elimination at the beginning. We swapped out the
so then you
RAM,
got
swap spots and everything.
Processor's the only thing left. And if you switch out the processor and you're still getting the problem, then I don't know what to tell you. But that's my next guess. At this point, you're buying a brand new computer. You already have you have a power you have an extra power supply. You got an extra motherboard.
Well, I got an older power supply, but it hooks up in there.
Yeah.
I got spare parts aplenty, man.
All right, so what kind of processor is it?
i5, i5 Microsoft Intel chipset, but been in there for since I got the thing, and thermal pasted it and everything as well. So.
No, I'm just curious as to like if you're gonna get another one of those processors just to see what that would run you. Do you know anything more about it other than being an i5?
The i5 is all I know about it, really.
Okay, you still got the box somewhere?
Probably, but I can't place it in my mind right now.
Well, it'll also say it. I think usually it'll say it on the processor itself whenever you take the fan off or the whatever, all that stuff. Of course, then you got to wipe off the thermal paste too.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can.
Or I probably just have to go to Newegg or PC Park.
I was going to say, where'd you buy it from?
Check the old.
Check that.
Old logs.
Yeah, check that. See what it is. Look up to see what those are running and see if it's worth dipping back into to try it again. I hate saying that too, because I'm afraid you're going to try it again. It's still going to give you the same problem. At that point, I don't know what to tell you to do.
Other than build another computer.
Build a brand new computer. But yet you're putting all this money into trying things to make this one work.
Yeah, it's getting expensive.
It's getting to the point of, I should have just built my own PC at this point, right? Yeah. So, I mean, that's an option. That's an option to do, is to get another processor, or if you want to throw it out there, and you don't know what it is. I was going to say, if you want to throw it out there into the space of radio world and everybody else listening and everything else, and say what that is, does anybody have one on hand? I could just try in my machine and see if it works. And then, maybe a good Samaritan will come by and help. I don't know. It's up to you if you want to do something like that. Maybe you just want to say, you know what? I don't care. I'll just use this opportunity to start building a new PC.
Yeah, it's a little early, though.
It's a little early?
Yeah. I mean, it usually go like 7-8 years before I build another PC. This
yeah,
but been maybe 4.
But it stopped working. So, I mean, you could hold off another... How many years have you gone? 4 years on this one?
4 or 5 years.
Okay, then wait 4 years and build another one if you want to. I know it's early... But it sounds like, I don't know the processor you had, but it sounds like, you said this one was 4 years old?
I want to say 4 or 5 years old. A little early for me, really.
No, it is. I mean, maybe not for some people, but for you and me, I think that feels early as well. That feels like midway point. Possibly. Depending on what they are, you can go further on some of these machines. So, what about your graphics card? Have you switched out your graphics card? Do you have a graphics card?
No, not what to switch out with. I mean, it's a it's a gigabyte, 1060. Been a minute, but yeah, it's not. I've never gone the high end route for graphic cards because I'm not really gaming. So,
but what if it's a graphics card issue? Have we tested the graphics card issue?
We took all the components out, and this was one of the components I took out.
Oh, okay. You took it out and then turned it on and it did the thing.
Disconnect the spare drives, the auxiliary drives, everything, and then have that thing bare bones minimum. Just power supply to motherboard to
I got you.
Minimums, and then turn it on.
Not the same thing. All right. Okay. So it looks like we're looking at, so really the last thing, I guess, it feels like the last thing, and you've been into this more than I have, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like the last thing we got to try is the processor. Now, if you're able to get another one to put it in there, see if it works, and it doesn't, will you, I mean, what's your, do you have a plan after that? Have you thought that far yet?
Use the laptop until I get something together.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, find out what that process, just for my own curiosity's sake, find out what your processor is. If you want to look up, you know, the sites to see maybe where you bought it from, so we can get some idea. Because I'm curious what a used one would go for. I'm curious what they go for now. It's been 4 or 5 years, so maybe the price on those have dropped or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But we can get an idea of where to start from and put that in there. At the same time, maybe just who cares on if it's the same processor? Just buy whatever processor is affordable. Put it on there and see if it starts.
Yeah.
If it does, then maybe that was the problem, the processor. You don't have a spare processor of any. Of course, it's got to. Of course, I know the motherboard and the processor, they have to match.
Right.
So if you do that, just make sure that's the case.
Yeah.
That your motherboard and processor can talk to each other. They're compatible. You may find some, whatever. What's the socket? The
1150 LGA.
Okay. Yeah. Get that squared away. Find something that's cheap that can work in that socket. Or find somebody that has something that can work in that socket that they just let you, here, try this out, give it a shot. What about my processor? No, it's in Wendy's computer. I didn't get rid of that processor. Everything, when I built my new PC, I realized I didn't use everything. I just moved it over and started from scratch, brand new. So I didn't.
Yes, spare parts everywhere.
Yeah. Normally, otherwise, if it wasn't in use, it'd be sitting there on the floor not being used, and I'd be like, here, put this in, see what happens. Yeah. So, although if the socket worked, and I don't know that it would.
Yeah. So I'll just call around to friends of mine, see if they got any spare parts lying around. If not, that's an option. Looking for something that's compatible. Yeah. That I can swap out and just test right quick.
Yeah, exactly. Just you want to borrow it just to test it, or even if you can't do that, you can find something that works in that motherboard that's cheaper than doing a replacement, or just because all you're doing is testing.
Yeah.
And try that. And if it doesn't work with that one, then you don't have to worry about trying to replace the other one. Yeah. If it doesn't work in that, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like if you switch out the processor, which seems to be the last part of the equation that we're working with here, and it doesn't work, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Lethal Migraine says I missed something. What's the problem? You've been away, Lethal. So RJ had a computer problem where his computer only turns on for about how long?
2-3 seconds, and it just cuts off.
Yeah. So what shows up on screen in those 2 or 3 seconds? Anything at all?
Dumb.
Okay, so.
Doesn't even have time to get anything to the screen.
So it doesn't post. It doesn't even post. Switched out RAM, switched out power supplies, switched out motherboards, turned it on without anything connected to it other than the processor, the power supply, and that's it. Still got the same thing. And the computer shuts off. It doesn't continue to run, but nothing on screen, right?
It cuts on.
It just cuts off.
Cuts off. Then occasionally it will cut on, cut off. Then it'll try to cut back on again. Okay.
Well, see, Lethal Migrant says, try something simple before finding new parts. Take the watch battery out of the motherboard. You got a new. Oh, you already did that.
Well, it was a new board.
You got a new motherboard.
New motherboard and did that, and then the old motherboard we switched out the battery in there too. Yeah.
So, okay. You've already tried that.
We tried that one too. So yeah, that happened.
Yeah. So apparently, Lethal, he has tried a few things that are simple before he's moved on to new parts, and still we've got this problem here. I can't think of what it could be other than the processor. Whereas before I couldn't think of what it could be other than the motherboard.
Yeah.
But you switched that out and tried it, and that was not the problem, seemingly. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I don't know. Have you talked to anybody else? Have you?
I've got some texts from friends of mine or whatever, but we're pretty much saying the same thing. Disconnect, reconnect, switch this out, put this in there, take this out. You know, all the process researched online, the checklist of what to look for. Yeah. But the same problem persists.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you on that.
Now, earlier someone did mention it's time for a new build, and I said totally the same thing.
Right.
It's a little early for that.
It's a little early, but if the thing doesn't work, then it's time to start looking into, I mean, if you don't want to do a new build, to do something that's, I mean, you've got most of the parts.
Yeah.
You've got a motherboard, you've got RAM, you've got power supply, then all you need is a new processor. Maybe. Yeah. But that's what we're trying to figure out. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's figure that. I wish I had one on. See, that's my problem, though. Even if I did have one as a spare, who knows if it would fit your socket? And I don't know what I've got. I don't think I've got anything as a spare. If I have a spare processor, it's like a Pentium 4 or something that goes way back. Man, it goes it goes very far back. Yeah. Not that I keep my old computer parts. I actually do, but the structure, I guess, of building PCs when you do build new ones is usually I start with a fresh build. I rarely do components over time type of thing.
Yeah.
Especially processors, like if I'm switching out a processor, I'm doing a new build.
Yeah.
At that point, graphics card, sure. RAM, sure. Power supply, sure. But if I'm replacing the motherboard, outside of something that if it broke, that I'm just buying the same one again to put back in there. Mm-hmm. At this point in my build, which was built in 2020, sure, I can grab another motherboard. I can grab the same brand motherboard, the same model, everything, and make that switch out. But let's say this is 10 years down the line, and it's like, well, I've switched out power supplies. I've upgraded the graphics card. Well, at that point, I've changed out the RAM, and it's like, all right, well, if I'm going to get a new processor, then I'm going to get a new build because I've already got to switch my motherboard. And I'm getting a processor, so then it's like, well, outside of the graphics card and the power supply, I wouldn't need. I just need some RAM. Do a new build. But most of the time, your components, at least for me, and I can't speak for everybody else, but most of the time for me, when I do this stuff, I don't really get rid of anything. It either stays in the box that it's in, or I've built a new PC and then I've got a backup computer or maybe a server or something like that I want to use. I do have graphics cards laying around. Not that that's going to help you in the situation. It won't, but that's about the only thing that kind of starts piling up is graphics cards. Whether they'd be dead, which I don't even think I have the dead one anymore. I think I got rid of that or moved it somewhere. I don't know. But the one that died, I still have Matt's that he loaned me. At this point, gave to me. And I still have... no, I don't. The old one, my very old one is in Wendy's PC. So, yeah, that's how it works for me. So, what is he? I had a similar problem with an old motherboard. Took out that battery and it worked fine. I switched to another company. It hasn't been an issue again. MSI to Asus. See, my motherboard is an MSI right now. So. Tomahawk or something. I can't remember what it was. It's also an AMD processor.
Been a long time since I used MSI.
I used to use them for graphics cards almost exclusively. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why. I think it was just I had an MSI once and it worked great for me. And I just thought, well, why switch?
Yeah.
And then I got to the point where I couldn't find a graphics card, and the third-party sellers were highly overpriced, more than the whatever. Also, which doesn't mean anything because I ended up with an EVGA in my system anyway. Yep. But
Yeah, that's typically how it goes with the components of a computer, especially if you're doing it piecemeal. Whatever works and whatever you can get your hands on. It's like one of the best power supplies I've ever had that worked for me was Roswell. That thing lasted a long time for me.
That's a bargain then.
Yeah, never had it.
Because they usually are bargains. I don't know. So just keep us posted, and hopefully we can find something to throw in there.
Mm-hmm. We'll figure it out eventually.
I hope so.
Find exactly what caused the computer to do what it did.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
What is your what did you play? Anything this week other than try to find the problem in the pewter?
Well, the standard fare. I played more Warframe and played some Virtua Fighter 5. I got some online matches in, which made me feel pretty good. I was able to still able to get matches in that. Haven't been able to build my rank in there, but I guess with more consistency, I can build it up more. What gets me though is that I was playing someone the other night that had 10 times as much matches as I did, but we had the same rank. I'm at rank 31, Shatterer right now, and we were both the same rank, but he had 10 times more matches than I do. I'm at like 434. He had like 4,300.
Oh wow,
matches. So go figure. I guess having to be real consistent really picks up your rank in that. But other than that, I did manage to play and finish off a playthrough of Until Dawn.
Hey,
and
I wish I could remember the playthrough that Wendy and I did from ever how long ago, so we could compare notes. But
what stood out to me was I lost. There were 3 lives I lost. 2 were mistakes I made. 1 was BS. I'll put it that way. It was one of the don't move things that got me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you had to be perfectly still.
Got to be perfectly still. Now I've been still all throughout the game, out the game until the end. So yeah, that one happened, and it doesn't take long to play. It really doesn't. One good sit through, you can get through it, or 1 or 2 days, you could probably get through the entire game. That
6
way.
hours.
Yeah, it doesn't take long at all.
Yeah.
Now I lost Matt, who I'm told statistically is the hardest one to keep alive throughout the entire game.
I cannot remember.
Matt is the football guy.
Okay.
Yeah, him. Now I remember having been told that make sure he gets the flare gun. No, this is spoiler territory, but it's a 7-year-old game, so I really don't have to do it that much anyway. So anyway.
And anybody you're probably not going to remember it.
Yeah. So I was told make sure he gets the flare gun. All right. So okay, I made sure he got the flare gun. Problem was, as soon as he got the flare gun, he used it in my playthrough. And flare guns, I don't believe, have multiple rounds.
Was this the one where they got on top of the tower and he fired off the flare gun?
Yeah, that's the first thing he did was shoot the flare gun. I'm like, wait a minute, he's gonna need that, so why would he shoot the thing? So when the time came that he needed the flare gun, couldn't use it because he shot the round off at the top of the tower, and he got killed. Now I lost Chris because I made a mistake. There was 2 icons you had to aim for to shoot the shotgun, and the exploding barrel was too far away. It would have been easier to just go toward the Wendigo and pull the trigger. I didn't, so that's why I lost Chris. The another loss was Sam at the end, when it said "Don't move."
Right.
It said I move, and I'm standing there still and didn't take. And I'm thinking it's that little blue icon in the middle. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it moves slightly. It can't move in there.
I think it uses it uses the motion control of the controller to dictate that. And I remember, I remember just being very careful with it because it was triggered a few times, and I would back up. I was like, nope, because I was actively trying to For me, I felt like I was doing it right. The game said otherwise. So I stopped, went back to it, and I was like, okay, let's try that again, because I am not moving. I am not moving, and I don't know why it was registering otherwise. But I want to say that we did reload a save on that one.
Yeah.
On some of those for the do not move thing, because I guess probably just to get an idea of really how sensitive that is for movement. But
maybe it was tilted.
I don't know.
Because I think if you set the controller down, the PlayStation, the DualShock 4 is normally tilts forward a little bit. So when you kneel, so when you
so it looks
put
like
it down, it's tilting down forward, and that may be maybe a reason why folks don't try to put it down, try to hold it still, hold it up a little bit. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know, but bottom line is, it said I moved when I didn't, and Sam's dead. So another playthrough is in order for it. If I wanted to get the full benefit of it, because I missed some totems here and there, and I'm thinking there's some characters, had they been alive, probably would have been there to find said totems or clues and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember who made it and who didn't make it. I feel like a lot of people made it in my playthrough, but I don't remember. I know I lost some, but I don't remember who, and it's a lot I don't remember that. So
yeah,
so a while back.
Another one I lost, the wolf in the sanitarium. Mike's playthrough, there was a wolf in the sanitarium that you could befriend.
Yeah,
and I did so, and that was if I remember another mistake I made. Barricade the door when the Wendigos are coming. I didn't think to barricade the door because, heck, these things bust through the metal doors in the insane asylum. What would a wooden door with a knob do against them? So I figured, to save time,
you're not thinking like a video game, sir. That's your first problem.
Yeah. So
not thinking like a video game.
Yeah. So a lot of lives lost in there, but first that I played through, but nothing that can't be fixed through another one. And like I said, it doesn't take long. 6 hours maybe. So one day sit through, or 2 days put back to back. Yeah, you can get through it again.
Did you play anything else?
No, just those three.
Just those three.
And PC repair.
Yeah, PC repair time. Yeah, PC repair simulator. What you play? All right, so we're going to take our first break of the show. And why is this not showing up as what it should be? Excuse me for a moment. While I try and figure out why this music is not what it should be, or at least doesn't seem like what it should be. I don't remember. Did I do? I did. Man, I can't tell if this is... Anyway, I tell you what, let's talk to Chris while I figure out. I guess it's Chris. I don't know. I just guessed. Hi, who's this?
Hola.
Oh, it's not Chris. Hey, what's up, Eric? I thought you were Chris, dude. I'm sorry. He normally calls, and we'll probably hear from him today as well. But while I figure out this music problem here, what's on your mind, bud?
Oh, not much. I listen. Y'all talking about a million miles over my head. It's like going outside and looking at the stars and not knowing anything. But I enjoy listening to people who know what they're talking about something that they're passionate about.
Well, we don't know what his PC problem is right now, so we're kind of a little bit clueless on that regard. Trying to fix his problem.
What I would do is, I would only go to one of your sponsors. That's the only remedy I have for that. Those are the only people I know nothing about them.
Gotcha.
Now, if you want the outside of it to look something different than what you got, I'm your guy. I can do something about that. But I can't. When you open the top, I'm like, yep, looks like a computer to me.
Looks like a PC to me. Yeah, exactly.
Are y'all streaming your show?
Yeah, we are streaming on, obviously, the News Talk app, of course, or online, but we're also on Twitch, where you can go and watch the show.
Okay.
It is...
I have to download that app.
Yeah, I think it's an app, but it's also just, you can go to twitch.tv on a browser. I don't know if you just use your phone specifically for the internet, but yeah, twitch.tv. And when you go there, you can search for in-game chat, and that's where we are.
All right. Well, I'm gonna see if I can't find you on there.
Well, we hope so.
I enjoy hearing y'all. Well,
where are you at? You out?
Get a little homesick sometimes.
I was gonna say, you up in Alaska right now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm having to work on a Saturday in my usual shows that keep me company and kind of hold my sanity a little bit while I'm off and away. Y'all get the weekends off sometimes. I don't. You don't either, but
I mean, I'm here. I'm here at my job.
It's not work.
That's true. That's true. Very true. So,
All right,
well,
fellas, well, it sounds like a good show to me so far. Enjoy your afternoon. And I'll holler at y'all later.
All right, dude. You take care.
Adios.
Bye-bye. Called him Chris. That wasn't Chris at all. Let's see if that fixed. Hey, it did. Okay, our music problems have been solved. I fixed those. So we'll be right back with more of In-Game Chat here in just a moment. Music from Ace Combat 7. This track is called Daredevil. We'll be right back. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. This is music from War Thunder, which I don't think I've ever used before. That's that, I think it's free. Is it free to play?
It sounds like one of the free-to-play app games.
Well, it's like, what is it? Army of Tanks? I guess. I'm not sure. But this is War Thunder. They have different, this is the menu music for the U.S., but they have menu music for, like, Japan and other different countries, I guess, depending on who you affiliate yourself with within the game. So I may grab some more of those later on to just throw in there and use occasionally. I like when games do that. Civilization does that a lot. Depending on which country you use, you hear the theme in a different tone with instruments that are native of that country, I guess, but in that style type of way. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're on In-Game Chat, and I'm not going to guess who this is.
This is Chris.
Oh, hey, it's Chris. I thought you were Eric for a moment.
I was about to call in and say I was Eric a little bit. But anyway, I tried. The phones were busy last time, and I tried to get y'all last time on the computer app.
I thought I saw your name on Discord, and then we went to a break, and I was going to bring you back on, but you were gone.
Yeah, I guess you didn't recognize me or see me in time, and I just had other things to do. But anyway,
no
y'all
problem.
Been doing good?
Yeah. How's everything going? What's going on with you?
Not much. Playing a few other things, and
what are you playing?
I'm forgot now.
Oh, well, okay.
I was playing. I got back had a craving to play 7 Days to Die on the old PlayStation 4, so I got back into playing that in one of my old saves, and I've been playing the Game Boy Advance Castlevania collection and playing through some of those games and stuff, and still hadn't even put in God of War yet, and the sequel. And you got way ahead of me on that one, but eventually I hope to pop it in sometime and go through it and enjoy the storyline on it.
I think I'm 38 hours into it. I believe 38 hours into it. I have no idea. I wish it had it gives you completion on like all the things you found in different areas and stuff. That doesn't give me an idea of completion of game, but when you start to wrap up quests, like, hey, go do all of these things that are spread around the whole entire area. And when you start knocking those out, it's like, well, we took care of that. No more of those to worry about. You start to think, I'm getting towards the end. Because when those start popping, like the Ravens, Odin's Ravens, there's 48 of them in the game, and I've killed 41 of them. So I got to figure getting close, getting close to the ending of that game. I say that though, and I only, I can't be certain on that. Things could open up even wider coming up, as I keep playing. So I'm not sure. I need to go back and look at the realm list. Like there's a way you can travel between realms in whatever it is. Anyway, when you're doing that, when you want to select the realm you want to visit, they only unlock as you progress the story. Mm-hmm. So I can see, like, have I unlocked everything, or there's some things that are locked, then it's like, okay, well, I've still got some 2 areas that may need to be unlocked. Then again, those 2 areas could be as big as a closet space, because like some areas when they open up, it's like, oh, it's a really small area, and it's only, and it has 1 boss, that sort of thing. So it may not be some massive space to explore. I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet, but yeah. But yeah, to essentially jump into a little bit of what I've been playing. There you go. It's God of War. When do you think you're getting around to that? Or are you holding off for some reason? Or you?
I've just been playing other games, and I've got so many that I bought on Black Friday, and then bought for myself on Christmas, and even some on Switch I haven't got to jump into. And I've been watching YouTube videos of different people playing, favorite streamers that play this and that and these type of survival games. I've been hooked on watching their exploits and, going through the things I like to enjoy playing and stuff. So I think most of the time I've been watching YouTube channels and, watching videos of people, their output that they've been putting out on their channel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, it's good to hear from you again, and sorry I missed you last week on that one. But anytime that happens and you're not able to or something, if I see you in Discord, I know your name is like KGB or something. I can't remember what it's KJB, I think, not KGB, KJB.
Yeah, I think when I signed up, I just used my initials.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so like I said, I saw you in there, and I was like, all right, we'll get him when we come back from our break. And when we came back, you were gone. So. If that happens, then I'll make sure to jump to you as soon as we can. So, but thanks for keeping in touch, and thanks for listening again and calling in, man.
Have y'all heard that story about the nightmare from the customs that destroyed that degraded Pokemon game?
RJ sent me the news the story over text this morning about that. It was a $10,000 Pokemon cartridge for Game Boy,
or it's supposedly at least
$10,000.
Yeah, about 10.5 from what the article I looked at. Yeah,
completely destroyed.
For those of you who don't know, basically someone had a graded version of Pokemon Yellow for the Game Boy.
Brand new and sealed, and it was rated at a 9.2, which is close as you can get to being mint in my book for their grading for what I remember. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was basically like if you graded comic books, 9.9 is like top tier. So 9.2 is right up there.
And it was Customs that destroyed it, right?
From the article, U.S. Customs was apparently suspicious about the item or whatever.
Was he headed out or was he coming in? Was he coming into the States or headed out of the States?
They didn't head it out. I'm not sure, but
maybe he was coming in, because I don't know that U.S. Customs would make sure you would check you going out. Maybe they would. I don't know.
So if you're anybody's familiar with collectible comic books or things like that, the item is sealed, put in an acrylic case. It's labeled by the organization that grades it. Has the official signatures and everything on there, right? So what happened was from the article, U.S. Customs saw the item, they broke the case, took off the label, sliced off the front of the original package, and was looking through it, because from what I gathered, it was suspicious. It didn't match their description of what it was supposed to be, and maybe the battery inside they were looking at. So they were coming completely into that thing and threw it.
So it sounds like they were coming into the United States,
maybe
coming back from a trip or something. I wonder if where they went is when they picked this thing up. Because why would you take it with you?
Maybe you didn't want to risk mailing it or shipping it, or
but you're
whatever.
coming, yeah, maybe.
Who knows? But U.S. Customs got hold of it, and they.
And then they're worried about a little bitty small battery in that thing, and it's exploding or doing something to harm the environment.
I have no idea. Something made them want to look in that box. So,
and then when they got to that and saw what it was and everything, like, this looks suspicious. Like, Yeah, this looks like a video game. Why don't you use Google to do some more research? Oh, this looks like an authentic sealed copy. This is from a game grading company that's been sealed by this WADA company. And, okay, that should be what it is. We don't need to mess with it. It's been sealed. Their games are sealed in these cases.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, the folks who are in customs or checking or TSA, like, remember my experience going to Evo. I had my fight stick in my bag, in my carry-on luggage. And they were looking at this thing like, what is this?
Right.
It's a joystick. And I'm in my mind, I'm thinking like, how do you not know what a joystick is? And then I had to stop and think. Maybe they just don't have any experience with video gaming in general. So maybe that's a good question to ask. But
I mean, what have we been doing? We've been doing this for 17 years. Been doing the radio part of it for 13 or so.
Yeah.
Maybe more. There's plenty of people who don't know what
there's folks who don't
find
know.
Obvious.
Yeah. So I had to explain why I'm in Vegas, what this is, and what it's going to be used for. So I can see that with the joystick. But yeah, I'm just trying. Outside of the battery, I can't think of anything that would make them think that this was suspicious. So.
Yeah, but in that little battery, it's inside the game case. It's inside the sealed game box. And then that's sealed inside the acrylic container. What in the world is that battery going to do if it breaches or explodes? At least nothing else. The acrylic would have protected anything from happening from it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what recourse this guy had. I have no idea. I don't
think he does have one.
I didn't read the article. I would have handed it over to them before I'd have let them cut into it. I just said, look, please don't cut it. You can keep this. I will not, keep it in some secure location. And I won't do anything with it. And we can work on this, later. But please do not cut into that. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, just leave it alone.
Please leave it. Which honestly would probably make them more suspicious, to be honest with you. If they're already suspicious about it, it probably doesn't matter. I don't work for custom, and by the way, customs and TSA I think are completely different. But customs probably has their rule. If it's suspicious, then do what you got to do to make sure.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if he was going out, coming in, and then the other problem of why was he carrying this? And again, I didn't read the article. Did he pick it up, or was somebody else buying it, or was he picking it up from an order that he had made why couldn't it have been mailed, or did he not trust the mail? Which at this point he's probably kicking himself and wish it would have been mailed.
Yeah.
But
I remember reading in the article, it really didn't state the circumstances about how it came to be. This is the after effects of what happened.
Right. That's my other question. Is this the guy that bought it for $10,000, or is this a guy who got it graded and is this the owner who was looking to sell it? Or I'm real curious as to everything. I don't know why. I'm real curious as to everything that's involved with this.
Yeah.
I guess before I pass judgment on one or the other, but I don't. Then again, at the same time, maybe it's a customs dude who is out there just to ruin your day and realizes exactly what it is and says, well, it's your unlucky day, kid, because I'm going to ruin your dreams. Here,
if he had bought it from somebody on eBay, hopefully they had whoever, he or the shipper had the insurance on it to cover the value of it. But other than having insurance on it, he's pretty much out of luck unless he can get away and win the uphill battle suing customs.
It probably didn't mention that, did they? If they had insurance on the item, did they?
I've never seen anything about it. I think it's just like, here it is. This is what happened, and it's like a friend of a friend, and then that's about all we know. Supposedly,
and it could happen to you too. Yeah, I don't know. So
we don't know what recourse this person has. I mean,
we don't have any details as to what was going on.
10-5, 10-5 gone just like that.
And I think something else. One of the old anime Laserdisc sets I bought somebody in Germany. I'm pretty sure that they had opened up the case and everything and protected everything, because all those old movies and any kind of media and electronic devices, they come with this little strip, paper called an OBI strip. It's basically, it has all the information about the make and model, all the information about what type of game it is. And if you've seen pictures of some of this stuff, Scott, it's a little, I'm sure RJ could probably show you some examples of what they look like. But it's a little strip of paper that goes on the side of the package, and it's shrink wrapped on top of it. And the people that collect all the different Japanese items, they especially go crazy if it doesn't have that OBI strip with it, since it came with the product. And some of the Laserdisc movies of a set that I got from a guy in Germany, it had pictured that it had the OBI strip in there, and he was pretty sure that it was packaged in there, but it wasn't in the package when I opened it up, and I'm pretty sure that customs went through it and misplaced the little label thing or didn't think it was important and threw it away, and then stuck the case of the disc back into the box that held off the movie disc.
Yeah, those little things are important. It's kind of like that. It's like those little tags on a Beanie Baby. If that tag is gone, the Beanie Baby's value just goes to nothing. So yeah,
because it's considered what, tampered or defective?
Yeah, defective, taken off. Yeah, it's like
it's not.
It's a collectible item.
It's unwhole.
Yeah,
it's not whole.
There you go.
The Beanie Baby has lost its tag, therefore it is fractured.
Yeah,
and the price is
Dead Space, make us whole. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
exactly. All right. Well, Chris, we're running up to the hour here, but thank you so much for calling in, bud. Take care.
All right, y'all have a good weekend. Have a good day.
You too.
See you.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Just to keep going into what I've played, what I haven't played, that sort of thing. What I haven't played, that takes too long. More Destiny. I'm going through now. This morning I sat through and did wrapped up some little challenges, like, on Europa, get kills with this weapon, and do lost sectors in the Cosmodrome or in the EDZ, or blah, 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 the moon, that sort of thing. And then I went through and with the new exotic and was shooting all of these little drones. There's 50 of them spread across whatever. And I've gotten all of them with the exception of 3 that are in a specific mission, and I'll work on that mission tomorrow get those 3.
So this is your Crackdown package search for Destiny, basically.
It is, but there's a nice video online that I can have on one screen while I run through. In fact, I already know where the last 3 are on this mission, and so that'll be. And when I do that, apparently I get to unlock the little robot dog in my little home space, which is what I'm looking for. So yeah, I'm just sort of there's nothing special this week as far as like extra ranks and something, there's nothing like that I'm worried about this week. So it's more of a, hey, let's get some stuff done this week, instead of grinding Crucible or Gambit or,
At least you get a break from the norm.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Well, no, I get to play the norm and get a break from the grind.
Which is still a break from the norm.
Which is, I guess a break from the norm it would be.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, I'll do that. And what else? Do I have anything else in Destiny? I mean, play God of War, of course. Like I said, we talked with Chris about that, and where I feel like I am is getting close to the end of the game. I think I'm looking for that point where, and I don't know that they're going to tell me that it's the point of no return type thing. I think they do. I remember the first game. They said something like, "Hey, make sure a character." Line of dialogue said something to the effect of, make sure you're all equipped up because, you're not coming back here, blah, blah, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Sort of a, make sure you're ready to do this before you commit to this, make sure you're ready, which would then tell me, okay, then I'm at that point and I can go around and do other stuff. So it's, I don't necessarily like this big area that opened up that I talked about last week.
Yeah.
There was a lot to do there, and as I was going through, I was like, okay, I'm at 96%, and I only have these other two or three things that I got to do. So I went and I did those, and I was at 97%. I thought, turns out this area is connected to another area, and I did not know that. Or I guess I did, but I'd forgotten because the place was huge. And I couldn't, for whatever reason, it made me think like, no, I'm in a completely different, no, this is same area from this other massively large place you were in. It's like, oh, great, because there's other things in that area that I haven't completed.
Yeah.
So I would go and do that. Not that I need to, because when I looked at some of the other realms, I was like, well, I'm not even in the 90% of everything I need to do there. But I guess because I'm so close, I want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go ahead and wrap that area up.
You're on the brink, so yeah.
I am. You're at 97%. Go ahead, knock the rest out. You know, it shouldn't be. I say it shouldn't be too hard. So yeah, it's coming along. By the way, the other way to know when you're sort of getting to the end of a game is when you are your main weapons, like the main weapons of the game, your axe and your blades and that sort of thing. Like you can change the pummel of the axe, you can change the grips of the blades, you can upgrade all these different things, but the axe, the blades, your main weapons, the kid's bow, they are constants and they can be upgraded. And so with the right material that you have to find by doing certain things. And once those start to get close to max, you know you're getting towards the end. And those are very close to max. I think I have one upgrade to go for both before they are maxed. So, yeah, I think that's where I'm at. And I'll work on some of that game tomorrow, you know, go through that. Work on some Destiny tomorrow, work on some God of War tomorrow. And try and put it in. I don't go to play something else as far as on the PlayStation 5, even on consoles in general. Because I feel like if I do that, I might as well be knocking out some time in God of War. I'm so close to that, might as well get that finished. I don't even feel like putting in like Sifu and go through Alan Wake again that I kind of want to. And I've got Ratchet and Clank to go through and Ghost of Tsushima to go through. And I haven't... I have all of those sitting there, but I don't feel like putting those in because I don't want to, I guess, fall off the wagon, you know? Yeah. I don't want to fall off the momentum that I've got with God of War to lose the story or lose the momentum, lose the muscle memory or the whatever that is, the controller.
You don't want to do what happened with Last of Us 2.
Man, I really screwed myself on Last of Us 2. I say I did. Maybe it was better that way because I guess... No, I don't think so. I don't think it was better that way at all. I think I did that disservice to myself. Because, doing it the way I did it, I looked at it and I said, that was all BS. I didn't agree with any of it, and I hated it. But that was because I took months breaks in between
long breaks,
little bitty gameplay segments.
And you cannot do that with a story-based game. You just cannot do that.
Yeah. I know. So, yeah,
it's like when I get to Sekiro.
Yeah.
I know it's not really story-based. It's a Souls type thing. But when I get through the story mode in that, I mean, I'm going to have to start over from scratch because it's been so long since I got back in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to start over from scratch and play through all of that and get as far as I can in there and find out what's going on. And also, I have to do that with the Ghost of Tsushima because I didn't play the DLC part. I got the DLC, but I haven't played it yet.
At this point, I got to start over on that game.
You start, so you with Sekiro, my part, you played a bit and then you had to stop, then you stopped, and now you got to start over?
Yeah, I'd have to start over. Yeah. I wasn't too far into it, but at the same time, I wasn't far enough that I feel bad about having to start over. But I would like to start over and like commit.
Yeah,
to get through that thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Committing, because when you started one of those big story games or big epic games, you got to commit.
Right, like coming off of God of War or coming off an Assassin's Creed or coming off of Ghost of Tsushima, I am not going to jump into one of those other games again.
Yeah,
I'm going to pick something that's very straightforward. Alan Wake's very straightforward. Ratchet and Clank's probably very straight. Sifu is probably very straightforward. I don't even know what's over on Game Pass. I haven't even looked at Game Pass in forever. But there's probably some games that are very small, straightforward games, or something that's a puzzle type thing, or something that just, doesn't. I'm not worried about a story here. I'm worried about solving the puzzle and then solving another puzzle or doing something else. Whatever it may be.
I think a buddy of mine referred to it as just turn your brain off and just play. That's all. Just play.
Essentially. But I do that when I play Destiny. I do. But something, God of War is big. God of War Ragnarok is very, very big. So we're over at the top of the hour here. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will dive into the news here and go over a few things that have happened over the week. But up first, we're going to leave you with music from a game called Old World. I don't know if you're familiar with this game. I found it, I think, on Steam. I was just looking for music. Old World. This track's called The Gardens. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. This is music from a game called Luck Be a Landlord. I don't know. I've heard some good things about it. It's $10 on Steam.
Sounds like a simulator.
It's not a simulator. It involves like slot machine type stuff, I think.
Okay, let's see. Luck Be a Landlord is a roguelike deck builder about using a slot machine to earn rent money and defeat capitalism.
Somebody came up with it, and then they wrote music to it.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I'm curious about it, though. I've heard some good things, and so I would like to. I'd like to investigate further. Okay. $10 investment to see if I would like something like that. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Jump over to the phones here and talk to Biloxi. Speaking of slots, Biloxi Gambler, not Deluxey. Hey, man.
Yeah, that's all right. I don't play slots.
I didn't think you did. You weren't a slot guy. You're a table man, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, I gotta. The house already has an edge. Let me try to get some of that edge.
No
back.
kidding. Every time I see people like, oh, I can't wait to go. Why do you want to play the machines? That's the biggest rig thing out there of any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Because y'all are talking about rebuilding all these computers and all this stuff, and so the chip has a lot to do with how a machine's going to work.
I'll tell you how I knew is because I looked into a long time ago. I looked into how the claw game works, and a couple of other those games that you would find inside of bowling alleys or movie theaters and stuff like that. There's little chance games that you can put your money into that seem real easy. Like you look at it as it's doing its demo and you're like, I can make that happen. And you can for a little bit until it gets to like the thing you want, which is the thing that they don't want to give you because wait a second, that doesn't work out to ever how many quarters you put in to whatever the price of that costs. Yeah. We ain't giving it to you. And so
you have to bust the glass to get what you want.
Man, so yeah, exactly. I learned a long time ago not to trust those machines. I will just as an aside, we've talked about a game called Vampire Survivors. It's a very low graphical, but it's one of the biggest surprise hits of last year. Made a lot of the Game of the Year lists in the top 5, maybe even higher than that for a lot of people. I found out the guy that designed that used to design casino games. Used to design the little slot machines, but the ones that were based on other properties and stuff like that, not your typical like Lucky 7 and whatever those things are, but like, your other slot machines that have themes like Wheel of Fortune and stuff like that. Yeah, the guy actually designed that stuff. And so he took what he knew of that and put that into a game where you didn't have to spend, I spent $3 on that game and I don't have to put any more money into it. I'm perfectly fine with that and enjoy what I get out of it. But that was the draw, the addiction to keep coming back and trying again to get better and better and better. Mm-hmm. And so he figured out a way, I guess, to implement that from what he knew building slot machines and made a winner out of them. So
yeah, he did.
Well, what's on your mind, man?
Well, we're going to talk about slot machines at all.
I know.
But I'm usually, because people don't like me to travel by myself, they want to keep me out of trouble. And so I'll spend a little time with whoever's rolling with me, and I'll sit next to them and play some slots, and they get mad because I still win and they don't. So, and I don't know if this makes any sense or not. There's 5 buttons on a table, right, on a slot table. So I just start hitting like one, just number them 1 through 5. Okay, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, and then all the way back down. Okay, I'll run it up, run it back down, and then on one of the buttons it's hitting when the others aren't hitting, and I'll stay on that. That's it. That's all the strategy there is to slots right there.
There you go. Yep.
Sometimes it's hitting on the max bet. Sometimes it's hitting on the third, the middle bet. Sometimes a little bit. Anyway, whatever. So, RJ, I was going to, last week tried to call in. Of course, the phones were busy the whole time, but you wasn't taking any calls, so it was a phone problem. Mm-hmm. And because Chris mentioned that, too.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, RJ, have you tried unplugging it and then plugging it back up?
Yeah, he's tried that a few times. Yeah.
And I got, okay, so I was working in an office, I used to have a real job and everything. And when somebody's computer would break, they'd call me, to fix it. Like I'm an IT tech, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know anything about computers. But I had a little tool, a little bag of tools, that I had. And I'd go in and I'd close the office door because I want to keep it secret, right? Because all the computers, the power cord into the wall was behind this huge printer. Well, you couldn't get to the power cord back there. And then on the back of the case of the computer, it's screwed in. That's the only reason I needed this bag of tools for. So I would just undo the 4 screws, pull the plug out, put it back in, plug it back up, and then turn it on, and it would work, and they thought I was magic.
All they needed was a screwdriver.
Just and I only needed that to get it unplugged.
I wish that was your problem. I wish that was your problem, RJ. I wish that's all it took.
I got a big tractor, as I do a bunch of land work and stuff. So as I plant and stuff. And so my tractor broke out in the pasture. Well, I called this guy to that helps me, comes up, to fix it. Now, he used to build cars back when, before he was old enough to drive, he could build a race car, a dragster.
Yeah.
And he knows everything about cars. We were out there for 2 hours working on that tractor. We couldn't figure out why it wouldn't, whatever. And so he's going to start taking the tractor apart. Now we got an all-day deal at least. And then he says, wait a minute. So he climbs up on this big tractor now. He's got to climb up on it. And then he looks down, he shines a light in there, and it didn't have any diesel in it.
A simple fix.
Yeah, we had to just for. He said, "Don't you tell anybody."
Don't tell. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell that story. If you've got anything that I found this out this week, I had a little game thing, some kind of a Sega thing. Anyway, the batteries had corroded, right? Mm-hmm. So I took the batteries out, threw the batteries away. But now the contacts and everything's all corroded. So I looked online how to clean it, and it's talking about isopropyl alcohol and blah, blah, blah. You know what worked good? Well, I couldn't find my isopropyl alcohol. I don't use that. And but I have hydrogen peroxide. I put that on a cotton swab. It just wipes off like dust.
Yeah, should be fine. Yeah.
Cleaned it immediately. I thought I was going to throw the thing away.
No.
Yeah.
Chris was talking about before, fixing contacts and doing all types of cleaning and whatnot. Yeah, so if it's a solvent and it works, it works.
It worked great. And 2 weeks ago, RJ, when I was talking, I kept mentioning, I think, Man of Medan. That wasn't what I meant. I meant House of Ashes. That's the one you got to get to. Is House of Ashes.
House of Ashes. It says,
and on your the dude with the flare gun.
Yeah.
In Until Dawn, I don't remember if Until Dawn has this feature or not.
Okay.
But the other ones, I think, when you get to the end of the game, then you can go back to any chapter you want to.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's in there.
If it has that, go back, and then you can do that over and over again till you get it where the dude keeps the flare gun, and then play the game from there.
Yeah. That was a feature that it was unlocked as soon as I saw the end credits. It was like the chance to go back and do whatever. So there's got to be some decision that I missed or whatever that made him shoot the gun as soon as he got it. There's got to be something to make him keep that thing on him. So I just have to figure it out. So do it, like you said, do it till I get it right.
One of the chapters that I kept going back to was when and I forget what it is that comes through the door when they're in the cabin, and all I got to do is shoot that person, and I never could figure it out. It's just impossible. And I looked, at the cheats and the walkthroughs, couldn't find it. Okay, on your songs is my favorite video game song. Period, comes from that series of. And they use different artists to do the same song. It's called A Conversation with Death, and Chemist does a great version of it. And I don't think I'd like any other Chemist songs, but they do this song really good. And I even downloaded that, so I'll play that sometimes.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Was that in?
Conversation with Death's a great song.
Was that in House of Ashes?
I don't remember which one it is.
It was one of those, but you don't know which one it was?
Well, I tell you this, though, they use it again in The Devil in Me.
Oh, okay.
Which is, I don't even have that game yet.
Yeah.
And they use somebody different, so that's how I know they use. And you can go on YouTube and you can see the one by Chemist, and I don't know, that may be Man of Medan one. I like where you got to visit with the psychologist. I guess he's a psychologist. That kind of the narrator, or the curator of the library that you have to keep going back and talking to in between segments of the game. Does Until Dawn have that, or do they start that later?
That I'm not sure.
I know Until Dawn had that part with Peter Stormare was playing as Dr. Hill.
Yeah.
And he was the one you had to talk to in between chapters.
Okay, yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy. Well, they keep that theme with the rest of the games too. And what's cool about that to me is the office. Dr. Hill's office, and how it kind of deteriorates.
Yeah.
It gets creepy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, man. Take care.
Take care now.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, there was something that's easily noticeable in Until Dawn was like the more his sanity goes, the worse that office looks.
Exactly.
Really
yeah.
Bad.
Yeah. I like that aspect of it. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. And I think the song was talking about A Conversation with Death. Song by Chemist. I was looking at the lyrics, and it's like, it's the ones it's in Until Dawn, but it wasn't done by the one by Chemist. I forget her name. It was a single singer doing that. So that's probably the theme of the entire series.
The series, yeah.
A Conversation
the whole
with Death. Same song, like Biloxi
Dark
said,
Pictures anthology.
Same song, just a different performer doing it. So his favorite is by Chemist.
I want to say the HBO show The Wire did that. Each season was the same song, but it was done in a completely different style.
Yeah.
Every single season. Great show, by the way, The Wire. Speaking of HBO, Last of Us on HBO. The first episode premiered last Sunday.
Yeah.
90-minute episode. I was real impressed with it. I mean, I wasn't worried about it.
Yeah.
I thought, well, if it's great, then that's great, and if it's bad, oh well, still got the game, no big deal. Yeah. I hoped that it would be good, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed what I saw of it. So, and I'm looking forward to more. I know the story, but I don't necessarily know the story as told this way. So there are somewhat of a few changes, or at least there were in the opening story, or the opening episode, that are different slightly from what the game was, which they had to do. They're going to have to do that because in a game you get to control a character. So when you're in control of a character, there's that attachment comes easily because you're controlling that character, but now you're not controlling this character. So they have to bring that attachment in. And I'm talking about the opening. It's the first thing that happens in the game. It's the first thing that happens in the show. So, and I'm trying not to spoil things for people who haven't played the game and are just watching the show. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody there, but you've got to have in any television show, you've got to have a connection to the characters that are on the screen. And I guess I can't really go further than that, really. You have a limited amount of time to make the connection with your audience and that character in order to get an emotional response back from that audience. So in a game, it just takes you making them explore whatever they're going to explore. It's the player.
Well, for a game like The Last of Us, like I said, it's story based, so the story. This is why I didn't put too much interest in the thing, because you say getting that connection with the player because you're controlling the character. I mean, but it plays out as a movie. You're not really. I mean, it's telling you a story, and just tell the same story that you would in the thing. I mean, very few changes. Don't make too many changes here. So that's the thing about The Last of Us. It's too well known of a story for you to make big changes in there.
But why not, though?
You're going to lose your audience.
No. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think you have to. I mean, outside of changing the dynamics between the characters, maybe. But I think you can, and from what I understand, they're going to. So one of the characters you meet in the game, Bill, later on, you meet Bill. He helps you get a car, parts, and put a car together, and you can drive off. Bill's got much more of a backstory in the show than we ever learn in the game. You get to learn about him pre-outbreak. In flashbacks and things like that in the show, from what I've read and heard about. We haven't gotten to that part yet. So you get a little bit of that. Let's see, what else was different? There was a plane crash in the opening episode, which there wasn't in the game. There is more of a backstory to the virus than there was in the opening of the game. You may learn more about that virus as you play the game. That's not what they did in the TV show. They started the TV show in 1968, 63, 68, something like that, with some scientists talking about a virus. Then they jumped to 2013, 2003, something like that. And then it's 2003, which is where they jumped to after that. That takes us to the opening of the game.
Okay.
When you play as Sarah, on Joel's birthday and everything like that. Then, after the events of the opening, it jumps 20 years later to 2023 and starts there. So, there are some little differences There's some other differences just to do for narrative, I think, more than what you can't do in a video game, or you don't have time to do it in a TV show like you do in a game.
So they didn't go any. So they didn't make any big embellishments or whatever. They didn't go veering off the course of the story just for.
Not yet. They haven't.
Not yet.
It's only one episode.
Yeah, first episode, just one episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Not yet. They haven't. So I'm not necessarily expecting them to. I am expecting to see some differences. I don't know how big those differences are going to be.
Yeah, they got. I mean, I know they're trying to fill out a season for this thing, so there's plenty of opportunity for them to go veering off course and just throwing random stuff in there just for filler to extend it for extension's sake. But I would just say I would just hope it sticks close to the lore at least. I mean, a backstory of characters you may not have gotten a chance to see in the game. That's fine. Just hope they do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like with God of War. I put in 30 some odd hours of God of War. They're not going to replicate the amount of time I've spent in God of when they do that God of War television show that I think Amazon picked up the rights to. They're not going to be able to replicate the 30 so hours that I put into this game. They're going to stick to the story. The side quests will be minimal, if at all, in the television series. They'll stay on point because you don't want to distract your audience to like, well, let's go off in this direction for a while. But you still have to create that bond between father and son. You've still got to build that up for the audience to have that connection with the father and son dynamic. So they've got to go through a lot of stuff together in order to build that relationship, not only between the two of them, but the relationship that the audience now has with them as well, so that they can care about what the hell happens to those two people. Yeah. Same thing with the opening of Last of Us. You got this much time before. Now, in the game, it opens...
within 20 minutes, something.
Yeah, exactly.
20 minutes of playing the game, you got.
You haven't heard about anything. Like the TV show starts with talking about the virus. The game does not. The game opens up with Joel's birthday, that sort of thing, and then you wake up from your bed and there's some news thing about a breakout going on of a virus or whatever. You didn't hear about any of this stuff. If memory serves, because it's been a while since I played the first game. Yeah. You didn't hear about this stuff ahead of time, so you just wake up and automatically accept that this is what's about to happen. This is what's going on.
You wake up and you're already in the
and you're trying to find your dad and that sort of thing. Yeah. And so you're playing that character. So the connection with the player is being made right there. Right. You've got to somehow translate that into a connection to the audience. We got to care about these people before you go and throw something horrible at them, so that we know the risk is real, so that we can feel that tension and care about it, the outcome of it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise...
So they just extended what happened in the first 20 minutes of the game for everybody else.
They did. Yeah. They did. So that we can connect to those characters and feel...
Well, what I'm saying is that it didn't take
the risk.
It didn't take long for the players to connect. It only took 20 minutes. So for the TV audience.
But you were moving that. That's what I'm saying, though. You had that. The connection is already there in a player when you are able to control that character, because you automatically not necessarily put yourself in their shoes, but because you're playing as them, this is my person, I am going to protect them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like when I play any character, I don't want to die when I'm playing. Mm-hmm. You have a different outlook on this because you play very hard games. In which you probably die a lot. But for me, it's like, okay, I want to not die during this boss fight. I want to get through it. Oh, I'm dead. Well, I got to start over and do it again.
I guess I'm not seeing the difference here because, like I said, these games are like movies now. It's an interactable movie. And it wouldn't be the difference between the person playing or the person just observing over your shoulder. They're saying the same thing you are. They're not controlling it, but it's like a movie to them. These story-based games are like interactive movies. So I've seen this movie before. It's just a different format. So...
I think, I think that can also work as somebody who is watching someone play. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily know if that's going to be like if you watch a streamer play it, or if you're watching somebody sitting next to you playing that game, if there's a connection there. I'm not sure. I don't know if a connection can be made that way, or if there's evidence that actually works as well. Yeah. Just watching somebody else do it also ties them in because they're tied to you, you're tied to it, tethered, I guess. I don't know exactly how that works, but it's just a very long way of saying that they're doing a great job so far, and I look forward to what's...
For me, it's just the same thing. We're going to take this game and we're going to extend the story in the most honorable way possible to extend for a season. That's just extend
9 episodes.
Yeah.
9 hours. Mm-hmm. That's not bad, actually. It's actually longer than that because the first episode was like 90 minutes. So I mean,
season premiere. So
yeah. And I don't know how it's going to work out with the rest of them, but give or take 9 hours.
Yeah, so
that's a good playthrough of a game.
Yeah, 90 minutes for the first one, probably close to an hour, or very, very few minutes above it the rest of the way, with the season finale probably being 90 minutes. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Anyway,
so you made a good first impression so far.
I liked it.
With the first episode, yeah.
I really liked it.
Let's see if you can keep it up keep that same energy for the next 8 episodes.
I think they can do it. It got really good reviews so far, especially from people who've played the game and people who haven't. Good reviews all around. So anyway, we're over our time on here to take a break, and my screen went black here. There we go. Making sure nobody was in Discord. So.
We were idle too long.
Yeah, I know. This track is from a game called Mountain Blade 2. It is the main theme from Mountain Blade 2. So we'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. You know, I said when I finished God of War, I don't want to go back into these big open world games, but I have a real big itch to get back into Red Dead Redemption 2, which is where this is from. This is called American Venom from Red Dead Redemption 2.
Did you have some unfinished business in that game?
I never finished the game.
Never finished it, yeah.
I didn't get very... So here's what happened. Played the game, got to... There was early on in the game, there was a gold glitch. There was a certain area in the game, this burned down house thing. You could go in there, get the gold, do a save, come back, gold's there again. You can get the gold, do a save, come back, gold's there again.
Lather, rinse, repeat.
So you just do that over and over again. So I got up to the point of that game where I had gotten to that area and did that a bunch of times so I could just get as much money as possible. I spent my time doing that. Then I started exploring around there, but by that time, other games were coming around and there were other things to do, and I dropped. I played a few missions into it, but I did not get far. I got to, I want to say it was a train robbery. I think, story-wise, I think we did a train robbery in Red Dead Redemption 2. So I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if the camp that we have on the outskirts of town changes, like develops as you go through the game and becomes this area, you know, this nice hub type place. Right now it's a horrible looking camp, you know, very sparse. There's this, you know, like little stretch of area that's got, you know, a saloon and some other stuff that's not too far from the camp that we're at, but I'm early.
Yeah.
In a game that big, I'm very early into that. So that's another one I would like to go back to. I'm also doing a rewatch of Deadwood, Wendy and I are. So I've kind of got the Western motif in my head a lot. So let's see. So news, which we haven't been able to hit at all. We keep talking about these other things, which are all game related, but we didn't get into news. And some of the bigger news that has hit. Number one, Stadia is dead. Long live Stadia, right? No. Stadia is done. The one day this past week was the final day for Stadia, and it is now gone. It is kaput. Stadia is no more. So there's that. Microsoft had a situation where they laid off about 10,000 people. Mm-hmm. Some of those affecting Bethesda Studios and also 343 Industries, the Halo team, as well. Some of those involving them. I don't exactly know who, and I really haven't read the article about it. Lethal Migraine had brought it up in the chat room way earlier on at the beginning of the show. The other thing that actually broke yesterday was that Crystal Dynamics is ending all support for Marvel's Avengers in September. The March update that hits March 2023 will see the last bit of new content for Marvel's Avengers. I can't remember when that game released. When was it? I'm trying to see here if there is anything about it, but man, that game had the worst.
It says August 14th of 2020.
I thought it was 2020. I was thinking it was 2020, and then it made it all the way to 2023. This for the type of game that it was, which was a what's the word? Games as a service, you know?
Yeah.
It did not do very good on the service part. It barely did good on the game part. Mm-hmm. It really didn't do good on the service part. And I hope studios will look at that and be like, people don't want this. They don't. They have it with any games that are doing it now. Just let them do it, because they've got that thing going, and they've already got their hooks. But new stuff can't come along to take that away. Possibly, yes, maybe you find the right formula, you can make it work. But nobody wanted coming off of the big ever how many film line of Marvel movies that ended with the whole Infinity War thing. Nobody wanted a games as service game about the Avengers. They wanted a single player, good story game about the Avengers. They wanted a Rocksteady Batman game, but with the Avengers. And it's the same thing that we want out of Suicide Squad or whatever Rocksteady was going to be doing next. You don't have to work on Batman. You don't even have to work on a comic book, but if you are, look at what you've done for Batman, do the same. And they're not. There was a leak this week for Suicide Squad where they were going to have a battle pass. A season pass of things. It's been removed by Warner Brothers, but it was an image that leaked. Let me see here. The next game from Rocksteady will include a battle pass system focused on cosmetic items. A leaked image apparently showing the game's main menu appeared online last night, spread via Twitter and Reddit, has now been verified as real. Apparently taken from a PlayStation test build. The screenshot includes a menu with a battle pass section above a squad loadout showing 4 characters, all of whom have leveling options. It's the first we've heard of Suicide Squad having a battle pass component, even if it's limited to cosmetics. The extent to which Suicide Squad will be treated as a live service game has been hotly debated among fans to date, following the failure of other multiplayer games as a service titles and Rocksteady's previous history making the Arkham series. Suicide, the title, has faced protracted development and several delays. Okay, they didn't show the screenshot, which is really, I don't understand. The leaked Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League image, which showed the game's main menu, has now been scrubbed from Twitter due to a copyright claim. This move all but cements the leaked screenshot as accurate of what players will see when it arrives in May. I don't believe that. Or at least I don't. It says all but cements. I don't necessarily know. It could be something that Warner Brothers is like, no, well, here's the thing. If you don't want people to think that's what it is, you can remove the image. You're well within right, but also issue a statement saying, hey, this is an old image. This ain't what the game is. It's not there. They haven't done that. So maybe they're right. It probably does all but cement that it's going to have a battle pass when it arrives in May. It says it's strictly for cosmetics, but you know what? It's also Warner Brothers who put out Gotham Knights, and Gotham Knights is a game as a service title in everything but name. The menu, the AI, all of it looks like there was supposed to be some sort of games as a service aspect that was quickly removed and worked around like, look, we have to remove this element from our game, but we can't have you recode we can't start over from scratch.
Right.
So figure out a way to keep all of this stuff in here, but we want to take the games as a service part out of it.
Yeah.
Because everything about it, from what I've read on reviews and everything looks like it should be there that way, but it's not.
We've gone too far to start over from scratch.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
And so here comes Suicide Squad. Here comes the next thing that I've been waiting for ever how many years now, since 2015, for Rocksteady to work on. Apparently they did have something going on and they had to scrap it. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. They were working on some other game, but then they started over. I don't know how far into development they were on that game. I don't know what game it was. Again, to speculate, to throw out a theory, Warner Brothers stepped in and said, we want you to do, you did great with the Arkham games, but we want people to keep paying after they buy the game.
Yeah.
We need to make more money once the game's released to cover the cost of making this game, because the cost of just buying it ain't going to cover it alone. And I, you know what? That's not true. If you can do it right, you can do it. God of War has nothing, but it's done fantastic. Elden Ring, same thing. Has nothing, but it's done fantastic. If you make a great game, it will sell like a great game. You don't need, well, maybe you do. Maybe you're just that greedy, or maybe you just use your money poorly. And need to recoup cost in some way. I don't know. But the rumor is that they were working on maybe a Superman game. I'm not sure. And Warner Brothers stepped in and said, we want you to make something that involves them spending some more money, if you know, that sort of thing. It needs to have cosmetics, it needs to have all these things. It needs to be a games as a service type title. And so they had to redo everything. I'm not certain on that, so don't quote me, but that's, from what I understand, that was the reason. But I don't know. After seeing Marvel Avengers do this, Marvel's Avengers, even when it was being previewed at an E3 thing, I was just like, I don't like this. It's not what we want for this. But good try. My hope still lies with Rocksteady with whatever they're doing for my comic book games. And now my hope for them is also gone. Because the stuff I've seen from Suicide Squad does not interest me whatsoever. Yeah. I'll see more. I say this now because I've said this before on the show. I've said this before about other games where it's like, I have no interest in that game. I'm there day one. I have no interest in the Switch. I waited in line and bought one. Day one. So I don't want to say that and then have that happen, but I don't know, man. At this point, I'm more excited about the Harry Potter thing that's coming out next month. Hogwarts Legacy, maybe? I can't remember what it's called. I'm actually totally interested in that. There's no games as a service about it. That thing's going to be massive for Warner Brothers. I predict that it will be. I don't know. My prediction is that the Hogwarts, whatever the thing is called, the Harry Potter game that's coming out in February is going to do amazingly well for them. Mm-hmm. And it is a single player. I don't believe it has any sort of games as a service aspect to it at all. So we shall see. We have a phone call. Hi, you're on in-game chat. Who's this?
Q-Ball.
Q-Ball. Hi, Q-Ball. How you doing?
Hey, man. What's up?
Not much. What's going on? What's on your mind? Uh-oh.
I kind of came in mid-show, and the first thing I heard was God of War has nothing, but it did great in sales.
Oh.
He's alive, right?
No. What I was talking about was God of War didn't have... we were talking about games as a service. In other words, they release a game, but then you've got to pay... After you buy the game, you pay more, like monthly, for season passes and stuff like that.
I hate that.
Right. And I was saying that a lot of company, or it seems like other companies feel like that's the only way they could make money. EA, Warner Brothers, like we have to be able to monetize this game after it's bought to get more money from our players, you know?
Okay. Goodness, Jay, I thought that you were about to lose me as a listener.
No. That's why I said God of War has nothing like that. And it's selling amazingly well. You know,
like I said, I came in mid-sentence. I apologize.
No problem. No problem. I'm glad that if you did hear that, you would have held me to it. I'm glad you would have called and said, look,
hey,
I got
right, sir.
Because,
damn right, sir.
Yeah, exactly, because that is a horrible thing to say about such a game. But yes,
How
exactly.
dare you?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Totally. But I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, man. Right on. Have a great night. Enjoying the show for the past 3 minutes that I've heard it.
Okay. Well, we've got only about 8 minutes left, so I hope we can keep you hooked that long.
I'll catch up on Twitch.
Oh, yeah, you can do that. Twitch, and this show will be on YouTube tomorrow morning. The audio will be on iTunes tomorrow morning. So, yeah, you can get it that way.
Heck yeah, buddy. Have a great night.
All right, man. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, totally call me out on these things, because I would have hoped you'd have said something, RJ. And like, wait a second, what are you talking about?
What?
That if I'd have said that God of War has nothing.
Well, I heard the whole conversation, so I wouldn't have said nothing.
Yeah, I know. I'm just, yeah. No, that's not the case. Anyway, yeah. I hate games as a service with the exception of obviously Destiny, but Destiny I only buy one time.
Mm-hmm.
Spend a lot of money when I buy that one time. Because I'm buying the collector's edition that has all the tchotchke stuff in it, and but it's also got physical stuff in it. It's got the physical rewards.
Yeah.
I'm more of a sucker for physical rewards than I am for somebody asked me the
collectible stuff.
Yeah, somebody asked me the other day, hey, the Hogwarts game, what would you think? You going to get just the regular version or the deluxe? And I was like, what comes with it? I was looking over the deluxe stuff, and I was like, nah, you know. And I brought up the God of War thing where I kind of wanted that big physical edition that had all the stuff in it and the cloth map and it's got all these things. And I realized after I did that, I was like, I don't really need that. And then when I was weighing buying the digital version, I was like, do I want to get the digital Lux or just the regular version? The digital Lux comes with some, not just cosmetic stuff, but some other, power-ups for your weapons and things like this.
Yeah, something to give you a little jump start.
And the more I thought on that, the more I realized that in the past when I have done this, I have rarely ever ended a game wearing any of those items or using any of those items that I got as a bonus for buying the deluxe version or the pre-order version. I rarely get to the end of a game using any of that equipment. Maybe I started with it, but by the end of it, I got something much better than what that was. And my thought on that was that, you know what? You don't really miss it when you don't have it. You don't. I can't think of a game where it was ever worth doing it that way. I'm sure some exist, but I can't think of one that was ever worth doing it that way. And looking at the Hogwarts game that we're talking about, that stuff most of it was cosmetic, I think, some of the digital Lux, and maybe there were some other things, and I was just like, nah, I'll probably just stick with just the regular version whenever I get around to it. So my biggest decision will be, will I play it on PC or will I play it on console? And I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's.
I think the last time I had something like that was where a bonus item benefited me was Code Vein. I think there was something with a God Eater crossover with.
Was there nothing that came with like Street Fighter 6 or Mortal Kombat or any of those that like probably got you some skins, I guess.
Skins, cosmetic things like that.
Mortal Kombat didn't have anything that got you through more levels of the tower or whatever the thing was. I don't know. I think
the only thing they gave you was like these easy fatality tokens or things like
bonus
that
coins or something. Combat
like
coins.
Yeah,
everything's spelled
like
with a K. If it's C, it's K.
Yeah. So something like that, but nothing I really got into in that aspect. But yeah, I was saying about Code Vein, there was something that an item that was in there with the God Eater crossover. So it was this giant sword that I was able to use, and I've been using that ever since I got hold of it. I just built it up to max levels.
Yeah. And
the thing worked pretty well in game for me. But Code Vein was a long time ago, so
that was a very long time ago. PlayStation, right? PlayStation on that one? Yeah. Did that ever get a PC release?
I don't know.
We'll see. Or not necessarily a PC release, but did it get on any other systems, or was that just a PlayStation exclusive?
Well, it's on Steam.
Okay.
Code Vein's on Steam. So
All right.
yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different game. I can't remember.
Bloodborne?
No.
Because Bloodborne they want on PC.
God, we want it on PC so bad.
Hint.
They do. I would play it on PC. I should play
A
it
whole bunch of people will play it on PC. That's why the topic is starting up, man. And I haven't finished that game yet. I ain't finished the DLC for it.
Oh, Bloodborne?
Yeah. That's something else I got to put on the backlog that I got to finish up. Yeah, like Lady Maria of the Clock Tower. Haven't dealt with her yet. Mm-hmm. And she's one of the toughest bosses in the game. Her and Orphan of Kos, I believe.
Fantastic designs on those games.
Oh, yeah.
As far as the bosses and everything else. All right. Well, we're getting close to the end of this one. Didn't get all the news that I wanted to get into, but I did get on my rant machine for all of that stuff. Look, Marvel's Avengers was bad. We wanted something else. They thought we didn't, and we showed them. And they also showed us how much they wanted to support that when we didn't want what they wanted. Which is fine in a way, but we don't have to commit to playing your game. You've got to commit, though, to continue to support your game for those who did commit to it. Because they put in the money, and then you've got to commit to that and continue to do it. I don't know. I hope a lesson was learned, and I hope other video game companies learn that lesson too, but they won't.
No, it's kind of a business thing. It looks good on paper. See the success that other companies have had. They try to
and we're going to try and do this with ours, and we think it's going to go that way, and blah blah blah. We're going to incentivize it.
But it takes them so long to realize that nope, didn't work.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us in the chat room, and thank you everybody for listening on the stream. Thanks to all our callers. We had Q-Ball, we had Biloxi Gambler, we had Eric, we had Eric the Dog, we had Chris calling in. So thank you guys. Have a fantastic week. Don't forget to grab our show on iTunes and YouTube and subscribe to us all over the place. Join us on Discord. Eric the Dog, you figured out how to use Twitch. You might as well try and figure out how to use Discord. And you guys have a fantastic week. We will see you next Saturday. Music here from a game called Lost Castle. Have a good one.